Eli Mercer did not expect company that night. The station was quiet in the way only deep space could be. Not peaceful, just empty. Old metal hummed softly around him as systems ran their endless checks. Lights flickered once, then steadied. Everything worked well enough, which was more than most people expected from a forgotten maintenance station orbiting a red dwarf no one bothered naming anymore. Eli sat alone in his small living module, tools spread across the table, repairing a cracked sensor casing. His hands moved on habit, slow and careful. He had done this work for years. Fix what others ignored, keep things running, don't ask too many questions. That was how you survived on the edge of known space. The knock came without warning. Eli froze. No one knocked here. Supply drones announced themselves. Inspectors sent messages days ahead. Even smugglers preferred not to be noticed. A knock meant a person and a person meant trouble. The knock came again. Firm, certain. He stood, wiping his hands on his jacket, heart beating faster than he liked. The station registry showed no docked ships besides his own small transport. Whoever was outside had arrived without permission. Eli stepped toward the door and checked the panel. No alarms. No forced entry. Just a single life sign standing calmly on the other side. He hesitated, then opened the door. She stood there like she had always belonged. She was tall, slim, and not human, at least not fully. Her skin had a faint silver tone that caught the light in strange ways. Her eyes were dark, almost black, but alive with sharp focus. She wore a travel cloak marked with symbols Eli did not recognize, and it looked worn, like she had crossed a long distance without rest. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then she exhaled slowly, like someone who had been holding their breath for a very long time. "I found you," she said. Her voice was calm but tight, as if saying the words mattered more than she wanted to admit. Eli blinked. "I think you have the wrong door." She shook her head. "No, this is the right one." Silence stretched between them. "I don't know you," Eli said carefully. "I know," she replied. "That is the problem." She looked past him into the small room, then back at his face, studying him with an intensity that made his skin prickle. "My instincts brought me here," she said. Eli let out a short laugh before he could stop himself. "You came to a restricted station at the edge of space because of instincts." "Yes, that's not a reason. For my people, it is the only reason that matters." Something in her tone made Eli stop smiling. She wasn't joking. She wasn't confused. She was certain. "And who are your people?" he asked. She hesitated just for a second. "The kind that does not knock on the wrong door." That answer did not help. Eli stepped aside slowly. "You should come in. If station control notices you standing in the corridor, they'll ask questions." She inclined her head and stepped inside. The door sealed behind her with a soft hiss. Up close, Eli could see small details he had missed before. The way her eyes tracked everything at once. The stillness in her posture like a coiled wire. She moved like someone trained to survive in places that did not forgive mistakes. "I'm Eli," he said. "I fix things, that's it." "I know," she said again. That word landed heavier this time. She removed her cloak and folded it neatly, placing it on the chair. "My name is Kale." "That's it?" Eli asked. "For now." Eli crossed his arms. "Kale, I don't know what you think you're doing, but if you're looking for help with something important, you picked the wrong human." Her eyes met his. "No, I picked the only one who mattered." Before Eli could respond, the lights dimmed. The station hummed differently now, not broken, uncertain. Eli turned toward the control panel. "That's not normal." "I know," Kale said. He shot her a look. "Did you do something?" "No, but something has noticed you." That made his stomach tighten. Eli worked fast, pulling system data onto the display. Sensors showed minor fluctuations across multiple systems. Power, communications, long-range scans. Nothing failing, just drifting. "That doesn't make sense," he muttered. "These systems are isolated." "They were," Kale said softly, "before tonight." Eli looked at her again. "You keep talking like this is about me." It is. He shook his head. I'm not special. I'm not a soldier or a scientist or some secret genius. I fix broken things and file reports no one reads. Kale watched him quietly. That is why your kind is dangerous. Eli laughed again, sharper this time. Humans, dangerous. We barely hold territory anymore. Kale stepped closer. You do not see it because you live inside it. Humans do not follow the paths others expect. You build where you should not survive. You question what should be accepted. You choose even when instinct says not to. Eli didn't answer. He focused on the data, but her words stayed with him. You said your instincts led you here, he said after a moment. What does that mean? Kale took a breath. My species evolved with biological foresight, not prophecy, not visions. Instincts refined by millions of years. When danger approaches, we feel it. When survival requires action, we move. And they've always been right, Eli asked. Always. He turned to face her fully now. Until tonight, her jaw tightened. Until tonight. She met his eyes, and for the first time, Eli saw uncertainty there. My instincts did not warn me of danger, she said. They pulled me to you instead, stronger than anything I have ever felt. That's not comforting, Eli said. It is not meant to be. The station trembled lightly, barely noticeable but real. Eli checked the display again. Something just entered scan range, Kale nodded. Others are coming. Others like you, some, and some who are afraid. Eli felt cold. Afraid of what? Of what happens when the future becomes unclear. He stared at the screen. You're talking like the universe revolves around me. No, Kale said. It is shifting around your species. Eli leaned back against the table, mind racing. This felt unreal. He had lived his entire life being overlooked, ignored, passed by. Now an alien with perfect instinct stood in his room saying the galaxy was paying attention. I didn't do anything, he said quietly. Kale softened her voice. That may be the most important part. She stepped closer, lowering herself so her eyes were level with his. Humans change things simply by existing, she said. You survive without certainty. You act without permission. You imagine futures that should not work and then you make them real. Eli swallowed. So what happens now? Kale straightened. Now you decide. That's it, he asked. No destiny, no command, she shook her head. For the first time, my instincts are silent. Another tremor ran through the station, stronger this time. A message alert blinked on the console, an open broadcast not addressed to anyone specific. Eli read the first line and his blood ran cold. Unregistered human presence confirmed. Observation protocol initiated. He looked at Kale. She looked back, calm but resolute. They know, she said. Eli took a slow breath. Fear pressed in on him, but beneath it was something else. A strange clarity. Then I guess, he said, we should make sure they're watching the right thing. Kale's lips curved into the smallest smile. Yes, she said. That is exactly what my instincts hoped you would say. The station lights steadied as if listening. And somewhere beyond the red star, eyes turned toward humanity, not with certainty but with doubt. Eli did not sleep. The station drifted in quiet motion around the red star, but his mind refused to slow down. Every sound felt louder now. Every flicker of light seemed important. He sat near the main console, watching data scroll past, while Kale stood near the viewport, looking out into space like she was listening to something only she could hear. The broadcast message repeated every hour. Cold, neutral, watching, unregistered human presence confirmed. Observation protocol initiated. It never explained who was observing or why. That was somehow worse. You said others were coming, Eli said after a long silence. How long do we have? Kale turned from the window. Time is difficult to measure when attention has been drawn. Some will arrive quickly, others will wait and study. Study me, Eli said. Study humans, Kale corrected. You are simply the point where it began. Eli rubbed his face. I didn't agree to be a symbol. No, Kale said gently. You agreed to choose. That word again. Eli stood and paced the small room. Okay, let's say I accept this is real. That powerful species are watching us because humans don't fit their predictions. What do they want? Stability, Kale replied. They fear chaos. And humans are chaos. Yes. He stopped pacing and looked at her. Then why didn't they stop us earlier? Kale's eyes darkened. Because until recently they could see around you, predict you, adjust for you. And now they cannot. The station sensors chimed softly. Eli moved to the console out of habit, fingers flying across controls. A ship had dropped out of faster-than-light travel just beyond scan range. Then another, then another. They're not hiding, Eli said. They want to be seen, Kale nodded. A gathering. Like a threat. Like a question. The first message came moments later. Not a broadcast this time. Direct, clean, human Eli Mercer. You are requested to remain stationary. Compliance will ensure minimal disruption. Eli stared at the words. Requested. Kale tilted her head. They are being polite. That's new. For them, she said, yes. Another message followed from a different source. Less formal, almost curious. We wish to understand how this happened. Eli exhaled slowly. They don't even agree on how to talk to us. Kale stepped closer. That is already a failure of coordination. It will spread. What happens if I don't comply? Eli asked. Kale did not answer right away. When she did, her voice was careful. Then they will escalate observation, not with weapons, with containment. Eli frowned. Containment. Isolation, limits, barriers placed so quietly you would not notice them until you tried to grow. That idea hit him harder than any threat of force. They'd cage us, he said. They would call it protection, Kale replied. Eli looked at the messages again. At the calm certainty behind the words, these beings had watched civilizations rise and fall like weather patterns. Humans were just another variable until now. He straightened his shoulders. Then I'm not staying quiet. Kale's eyes widened slightly. You intend to respond. Yeah, Eli said, but not the way they expect. He opened a channel, not targeted, not formal, a general open transmission. This is Eli Mercer, he said, voice steady despite his racing heart. I'm a human. I don't know who all of you are, and I don't know why you're watching us now instead of before. But I do know this. Humans don't stop being human just because someone asks nicely. Silence followed, long enough that Eli wondered if he had made a mistake. Then responses came flooding in. Questions, data requests, probability projections. Arabic ba, Arabic tain, Arabic data, Arabic ha, Arabic Khalif careful, others sharp. Kale watched the incoming streams with something close to awe. They are trying to model you in real time. Good luck with that, Eli muttered. One message stood out, marked with high priority. Your behavior contradicts expected outcomes. Please explain. Eli smiled faintly. That's kind of our thing. He sent another message. You want to understand humans, then stop treating us like a problem to solve. We're not perfect. We argue, we make bad choices, but we don't live by instinct alone. We imagine things that don't exist yet and then we build them. Kale felt something shift inside her as she listened. Her instincts remained silent, but something else stirred instead. Belief. More ships arrived, not in formation, not united, some held back at a distance. Others moved closer, sensors active but restrained. They're divided, Eli said. Yes, Kale agreed. Some see opportunity, others see danger. And you? Eli asked quietly. She met his gaze. I see truth unfolding without a script. That night, Eli learned more about the galaxy than most humans ever would. Species that lived by prediction. Civilizations that avoided risk so completely they forgot how to choose. Entire cultures built on the comfort of knowing tomorrow. And when they don't know, Eli asked. Kale answered softly. They panic. The next message was not a request. Humanity's expansion patterns indicate increasing disruption to probability-stable regions. A solution has been proposed. Eli's stomach tightened. Here it comes. Kale read the data faster than he could, her hands clenched at her sides. They intend to isolate human space, she said. Not physically, temporally, probability locks fixed futures. Eli felt anger rise sharp and clean. They'd freeze us in place. They believe it is mercy. No, Eli said, it's fear. He stepped closer to the console and began typing, not code, words. Let me tell you a story, he transmitted. Kale blinked. A story? Yes, Eli said. About a species that stayed safe forever and disappeared because they never changed. The response was immediate confusion, requests for clarification, statistical objections. Eli continued anyway. He spoke about human history, about mistakes and recoveries, about art created in hard times, about curiosity that led them into danger and back out again. You can't predict us because we don't always choose the best option, he said. Sometimes we choose the meaningful one. Kale felt it then. A strange warmth where her instincts used to guide her. She realized she was choosing too, standing here, supporting this fragile, stubborn human who refused to be small. The coalition responded hours later. Observation will continue. Containment delayed. It wasn't a victory. But it wasn't a cage either. Eli slumped into a chair, exhausted. So now what? Kale looked at the stars beyond the viewport. Ships still watched, but they kept their distance now. Now, she said, the galaxy learns how to live with uncertainty. Eli followed her gaze. For the first time, he didn't feel insignificant out here. He felt connected. Somewhere, predictions were failing. Models were being rewritten. Instinct-driven minds were encountering doubt for the first time. And humanity, unaware of how close it had come to being quietly locked away, continued to choose its own future. Eli closed his eyes briefly, then opened them with quiet determination. If they're going to watch us, he said, then we might as well give them something worth watching. Kale smiled, not from instinct but from trust, and far beyond the red star, the universe leaned in, uncertain and curious, as humans did what they had always done best. They kept going. The waiting was the hardest part. Days passed on the station, measured not by sunrise or sunset, but by system cycles and the slow movement of the red star outside the viewport. The ships remained. Some stayed far away, quiet and careful. Others came closer, then pulled back again like they were unsure how near was too near. Eli kept working. He fixed panels, replaced worn circuits, tuned sensors that no one else would have noticed were drifting. The routine helped him think. It reminded him who he was. Not a hero, not a symbol, just a human who solved problems one piece at a time. Kale stayed with him. She no longer stood apart, watching in silence. She asked questions now, about human habits, about why Eli hummed softly when he worked, about why humans told stories even when no one asked for them. Stories help us remember who we are, Eli said one evening as they shared a simple meal, and sometimes they help us become who we want to be. Kale considered that. My people remember through instinct, not story. Maybe that's why this is hard for them, Eli replied gently. The next message from the coalition arrived without warning. It was not cold this time. It was careful. A final decision is approaching. Kale felt it before she read the data, a pressure in the air, a sense of balance tipping. They are afraid, she said. Of us, Eli asked. Of what they are becoming by watching you. Eli leaned back in his chair. Then maybe it's time we stopped letting them guess. He opened a new channel, wider than before. Not just to the ships nearby, but to every listening relay that might carry his words further. I know you're deciding what to do with us, he said. Whether to lock us in place or let us keep moving. Before you choose, there's something you need to understand. He paused, letting silence do its work. We're not asking permission to exist. We're not asking you to protect us. We're asking you to accept that the future isn't meant to be safe all the time. Kale watched the data stream spike. Emotional markers, cognitive strain. For instinct-based minds, this kind of uncertainty hurt. You see risk as something to remove, Eli continued. We see it as something to face. That doesn't make us better than you, just different. A reply came from one of the closer ships, slower than before. Difference creates instability. Yes, Eli agreed, but it also creates growth. The coalition's proposed solution activated partially, not a full containment, instead a test. Probability fields began to form at the edges of known human space, soft barriers. Invisible limits designed to guide, not block. Kale stiffened. They are trying to shape outcomes without forcing them. Eli frowned. They still don't get it. He stood and placed his hand on the console, grounding himself. You can't guide us without changing yourselves, he said into the channel. Because once you start reacting to our choices instead of predicting them, you're choosing too. That word echoed again. Choose. For the first time since she had arrived, Kale felt something like fear, not of danger but of freedom. Her instincts had guided every step of her life. Now they were quiet, and the silence asked her a question she had never faced. Who are you without certainty? The coalition argued among themselves. Data packets crossed and collided. Some minds clung to stability. Others began to explore scenarios without fixed outcomes. Eli waited. He did not threaten. He did not demand. He simply stayed present. Finally, the message came. Containment protocols withdrawn. Kale's breath caught. Observation will continue. Interaction permitted. Human expansion will proceed without probability restriction. Eli closed his eyes, relief washing over him. They're letting us go. They are doing more than that, Kale said softly. They are changing. The ships began to move away, not retreating in fear but repositioning, watching from a respectful distance. Learning. The probability fields dissolved like mist. Somewhere far beyond the station, entire civilizations felt something shift. Instinct-driven minds encountered open futures for the first time. It was uncomfortable, but it was also alive. Kale turned to Eli. My people will not understand this easily. Neither will mine, Eli said with a small smile. But we'll figure it out. We always do. She studied him. This human who had stood at the center of something vast without trying to control it. My instincts did not guide me here, she said quietly, but I am glad I came. So am I, Eli replied. In the days that followed, life slowly returned to normal, or as normal as it could be after the galaxy noticed you. Eli sent reports to human authorities, careful ones, honest ones. He knew it would take time for humanity to understand what had happened. Some would deny it. Others would rush forward without caution, but that was human too. Kale prepared to leave. Her ship was repaired, its systems aligned. Before she boarded, she paused at the doorway. What will you do now? She asked. Eli looked around his small station. The tools, the quiet hum, the red star outside. I'll keep fixing things, he said. Just bigger ones, maybe. Kale smiled. A real smile not driven by instinct. That is how change begins, she said. As her ship departed, Eli watched until it vanished into the dark. He felt small again, but not insignificant. Humanity continued on, exploring, failing, trying again. No longer unseen, no longer predictable. And across the galaxy, beings who had once trusted only instinct began to tell stories. Stories about a quiet human on a forgotten station who reminded the universe of something it had almost forgotten. That the future is not meant to be known. It is meant to be chosen.